If you want a clear understanding of the home buying process here in Arizona, make sure you stay tuned for this video. Welcome back to the channel, guys. My name is Josh Zuniga. It's my beautiful wife,
Sabree.
and today we want to discuss exactly what the home process here is within the state of Arizona. Now, some of you may have actually purchased a property. Maybe this is something that you're actually going to go through for a second time, but we do this on a daily basis. The average home buyer actually buys a house anywhere between 5 and 7 years on average, whether they decide to upbuy, whether they decide to downsize, or they decide to relocate. But we just want to make sure that we give this to you as a refresher and to give you the clear understanding of what the steps are and actually how the process works. But I'm gonna give it over to Sabree because she's gonna go over the beginning process when then we actually do that for you.
Thank you so much, babe. So first step, we will have a buyer's consultation with you. We'll meet at a coffee shop, at your house for lunch, something like that. And we'll really dig deep into exactly what you're looking for, what your criteria is, the area of town you wanna live in, the size of the home, what single story, 2-story, if you want to do a new build, if you want to buy land and build your own house. Like Josh and I will really dig in with you and figure out exactly what you're looking for. And secondly, we'll hook you up with a lender so you guys can get your information from them that see exactly what you qualify for.
Yep, and then step 3 after that, guys, is once you get fully pre-qualified, you submitted all your docs. Some of those docs are going to be your W-2s, 1099, recent bank statements, copy of your IDs, and then they're going to upload everything, and then they should give you a pre-approval within 24 to 48 hours, all right? And then after that process, as we're setting up your home search for you, at some point in time, we're going to go see homes. It doesn't matter whether it's one house or we see 20 houses, we go until you actually find the right home. And we want this to be very, very clear. You guys are the boss in this process. By no means will you feel pressure for Sabree or I or any of our team members that we put you in contact with. We want to make sure that this is a fun, warm, loving process for you and that you have a team and a unit all fighting for you when we go and actually purchase this house, okay? But once we actually identify a house, at some point in time, we're going to make an offer. We will actually do some analysis. We'll run some comps and see if actually the home is worth the value of what the list price is. And then we'll go over the structure of what the offer is we're gonna do for ourselves, whether we're gonna give them list price, below list price, asking for closing costs. Maybe you need 30 or 45 days, whatever that may be. We're gonna make sure we all discuss all of that, and then we're gonna submit our offer. And the offer can come back in a number of ways. It can come back with full contract acceptance, which is wonderful, or it can come back with a counter offer. And what a counter offer is that they were going to submit another piece of paper that says counter 1 on it, and that's gonna either come back with different price and different terms. And then we can either accept that counter offer or we can counter offer with counter offer 2. And we can go back and forth until we have full contract acceptance. Once we have full contract acceptance, the very next day starts our 10-day inspection period. And then within those 24 to 48 hours, we also want to we also want to actually deposit our earnest money. Earnest money can be anywhere from 1 to 2% of the actual purchase price. If it's the weekend, we definitely want to make sure we get that done on Monday, all right? And then during this 10-day inspection period is a really good opportunity for us to hire a home inspector, any specialist for the HVAC, for the pool. If you want to look for termites, that's a thing here that's very common. We want to make sure that we get the full reports. We want to review those. We also send a copy over to the listing agent so they can give them over to the sellers. And then there's a document called the BINSR. A BINSR means Buyer's Inspection Notice, Seller's Response. So all of the items that we have as far as the reports, the BINSR, we list out the items that we want to actually have the seller either repair or address, okay? As an example, let's say there's these 5 things that we want to put on this report and they cost $1,500, all right? The seller is then going to review that and they have 5 days to respond to us, and they can respond in a number of ways as well. They can say, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, we'll fix all of them, we'll fix some of them, we'll fix none of them, we'll fix some and give you a credit, or we'll just give you a credit of the $1,500 and you can do with that as you please at closing. And then we can have our own contractors or specialists come in after we close. That's usually the cleanest, but based off your situation and based off of the actual contract in the home, we want to make sure that it's going to be the best case scenario for you before we move forward. And the very next step after that is going to be the appraisal.
Yes, so once we go through the appraisal process, when that comes back from the appraiser, it's either going to be at list price or at purchase price that we've already agreed on. It's going to be above list price, which is amazing for the buyer. You're already going to walk into the house with the equity, or below. If it comes in below, then your options are to either, for the seller to either bring the price down to what it came in as, an option for you and the seller to kind of meet in the middle of whatever that range is, or the buyer actually does have an option to back out of the deal and get their earnest money back.
Yeah, and if the buyer chooses, say it's a $5,000 difference, you know, as an example, say we're at $500,000 and it comes in at $495,000. The buyer can come in with that $5,000 if they really love the house in cash. The seller comes down in $5,000 at $495,000 and then the deal continues. Or the seller can say, hey, I'll come down 25 if you come in 25 and you meet in the middle. If you don't have, if we can't negotiate that and it doesn't figure out, there is what's called an appraisal contingency where the buyer does have the option to cancel and get their earnest money back. And I forgot to mention, you can also cancel for whatever reason within the 10-day inspection period and also get your money back. So that's two key things to really make sure that you remember, because the purchase contract that we have here within Arizona is very buyer heavy. There's nothing the seller can really do to cancel the contract unless the seller puts the buyer in a position to where they have to cancel, okay? But the next step after that is going to be our final walkthrough. The final walkthrough usually happens anywhere between 24 and 72 hours before you actually close. It's to make sure that we come into the actual property again, make sure all the items that we requested on the binzer that we agreed upon are actually fixed or corrected in a workmanly fashion that you guys actually approve of. Once we get that settled, then a notary is going to reach out to you, or the title company is going to reach out to you to sign your purchase docs. They can either sign them at your house, a coffee shop, wherever, or you could actually go into the office at a scheduled time to sign these documents. At that point in time, you're going to see it's going to be like at least 45 minutes. Your documents will be signed. Those will actually go back to the lender, copied and scanned to verify all signatures and initials, your down payment, and the loan will then be funded. Once it is funded, that money comes back to title, and then title will actually initiate to record with Maricopa County. And once it records with Maricopa County, it goes into a queue. Congratulations, you just got yourself a home, right? Super excited for you guys, but that's the process. And from contract to close is usually around 30 days. If we need to extend that process for 45 because you're relocating or moving, we definitely can do that. But we just want to make sure we give you a quick overview. When we go through the buyer's consultation, we're going to go into this in detail. Bring all of your questions. There's no such thing as a dumb question. We want to make sure this is a wonderful process for you. We want to make sure you feel educated, you feel empowered, and you feel excited to actually start this. So if you guys are interested in actually setting up a buyer's consultation, make sure to reach out to us. All of our information is in the description below, and we can't wait to see you in person. But until then, guys, take care.